Brought to you by Gamezy. Win up to rupees 5 crores every day. Download the app now.
It's a double header in the IPL. It's Sunday and well, let's look at the first game and get right into our top fantasy picks. First up, it's the Kolkata Knight Riders versus the Delhi Capitals. So let's talk about the budget buys first. Well, for the Kolkata Knight Riders, if we look at the budget buys, Ajinkya Rahane and Nitish Rana really haven't fired. Rahane made that 40 odd runs in the first game, but after that nothing has happened. Nitish Rana too has been disappointing so far. But Venkatesh Iyer finally scored a 50 in the last game. Even though he did not look convincing, but he stayed there till the end, and that would help his confidence quite a lot. And I think having Venkatesh Iyer in your side is still a decent bet because he'll open the innings and he might give you 1 or 2 overs in the middle or towards the later stages of the innings. So Venkatesh Iyer is one, but my favorite budget buy from KKR remains Umesh Yadav. The purple cap holder has set the tournament on fire. He started so well, has been bowling really well in the last game also. He should have had 2 wickets and that would have taken his tally to 10 wickets for the season so far, but right now he's at 9 because of that 1 drop catch. So Umesh Yadav is again a great choice among your budget buys. Now let's look at Delhi Capitals. Prithvi Shaw finally came to form, scored 61 runs of 34 balls, so he's again a good pick. Apart from him, there are other options also. There's Kuldeep Yadav, Mustafizur Rahman, consistently economical, and then he might give you 1 or 2 or even 3 wickets at times. So Mustafizur is there, Kuldeep is there, and then somebody like a Lalit Yadav, who by the way bowled 4 overs in the last game, even though he did not bat at his regular position of number 5 this season. But again, if he's batting 4 down and giving you 4 overs with the ball, picked up a wicket in the last game, he's again a good choice for your budget buys. Overseas options. Well, if we look at KKR, we know they might go in with the same personnel. See, Pat Cummins, even though he gave away 49 runs with the ball, scored the joint fastest 50 in IPL history. So he's definitely going to be there. You can't remove Andre Russell and Sunil Narayan from the side any which way. The only change that they might look at, if they look at it, could be Sam Billings going out. And if Sam Billings goes out, then you would have to bring somebody like a Sheldon Jackson into the side. But if Billings goes out, then you can probably get Tim Southee in place of somebody like a Rafiq Salam. But Sam Billings, I don't think they'll remove him for this game. He'll play. He scored 2 sixes in the last game, 17 runs off 12 balls. And even though at one point KKR looked in a spot of bother, Pat Cummins won them the game. So really don't see any changes happening for the KKR. Now let's look at the Delhi Capitals. Again, for them, David Warner will for sure play because he played that one game. Henrik Nokia did not have a great time, by the way, in the last game. Had to be removed for bowling those over the waist no balls, beamers that we call them. So Nokia, but still will play because you expect a player like him to come good in the tournament, and he's returning from injury, so maybe he was a little rusty in the last game, but perhaps this game he'll be better. So Nokia will play, Warner will play, Mustafizur again will play, gave away only 26 runs in the last game. So these 3 will play for sure. Robman Pal had a disappointing outing again, and he was batting up the order last time around. So the only change I see happening, and this was what Ricky Ponting had pointed out a little earlier, like a week back, that Mitchell Marsh is expected to fit for the game with the Kolkata Knight Riders. So if Mitchell Marsh is coming in, Robman Pal goes out. That's the one change in your overseas options. Captaincy choices. Well, for the Kolkata Knight Riders, even though I consistently say that Shreyas Iyer is a great choice, unfortunately he hasn't really done too well. He has had starts, looked in good touch, but still hasn't made the most of it. But still, again, I would pick him as, if you want to make him your captain, you can take a punt, because every time he has started, he has looked really good. It's just that he hasn't kicked on from there, and maybe that can change in this game. So Shreyas Iyer from the players in KKR. And apart from this, of course, there's Andre Russell. Andre Russell again is a great choice, scored that 70 runs in that game. So again, you can make him your captain. Will bowl that 1 over right towards the end, the 19th over that they've started giving him, because he's not 100% fit clearly. He's not been bowling his quota of 4 overs. So expect him to bowl 1 or 2 overs at max, but he'll bat. So Russell is another great choice for the Kolkata Knight Riders. Now Delhi Capitals. David Warner looked very rusty last game. Scored 3 runs off 12 balls? But he can be a decent choice. You never know with David Warner. If he's on fire, he's gonna win the game single-handedly. So David Warner is a great choice. And apart from that, if you look at somebody like a Rishabh Pant, who I also keep pointing about, Rishabh Pant is again a great choice. Hasn't really had a lot of success in terms of the free scoring that we used to see earlier in the years. But maybe this game he'll do better. He has got a 40 odd score, a 30 odd score in the last game, but hasn't scored that with that higher strike rate. So maybe that will change in this game. So that was all about this game. So my 11 for this game, for the KKR versus Delhi Capitals game is, and let me tell you, there's Rishabh Pant, of course, among the keepers. Then among the openers, I have taken Prithvi Shaw, David Warner, Venkatesh Iyer. Then middle order, I have taken Shreyas Iyer. Among all-rounders, I have gone with Andre Russell, Lalit Yadav. And among the bowlers, I have picked 4. Pat Cummins is there, Umesh Yadav is there, Kuldeep Yadav and Mustafizur Rahman. So that is my 11 for this game. The second game of the day is the Lucknow Super Giants taking on the Rajasthan Royals. And well, let's talk about the budget buys first. Budget buys. Well, Deepak Hooda has been very impressive. 250s in 4 games. Last game he scored 13 odd runs. But all his 50s have come in those odd games. The first game, the third game, and now because they're going to be playing the 5th game, maybe it's not that bad a thought to have him as one of your budget buys, because he might give you 1 or 2 overs and he'll score runs for you as well. So Deepak Hooda is among my budget buys. And apart from that, from the Lucknow Super Giants, I'll have 2 bowlers who have been impressive. Ravi Bishnui, very impressive. I think he's been one of the best leg spinners in the country and probably justified his selection in the Indian team with the performances in the IPL this season so far. So Ravi Bishnui is definitely there. Avesh Khan has again been decent, has been sort of, I don't know, there's like a switch. One game he takes 4 wickets, one game he goes 4 runs. But again, he might give you a few wickets and he's going to be in my side for sure. So these 3 are my budget buys from the Lucknow Super Giants. Now let's look at Rajasthan Royals. And frankly, you could have gone with Prasidh Krishna as one of your budget buys, but he's gone for runs in the last couple of games after that brilliant start in the first encounter. But yeah, if you want to look at another bowler that you want to keep, you can look at Prasidh Krishna. Another guy that you could have in your side from the budget buys is Devdutt Padikkal, who scored 30 odd, 40 odd runs for his side. But again, if you expect somebody to come good, and with Yashasvi Jaiswal not doing too well, maybe, just maybe, Rajasthan might look at him to start opening the innings along with Josh Butler. So he's again a good option. Overseas options. Well, I think Marcus Stoinis will definitely come in for this game. Lewis did not have a great outing last time around, and I think he might be replacing Evan Lewis, but because of the fact that Andrew Tye also really hasn't done a lot in the IPL so far. Last 2 games he's been expensive. Maybe, just maybe, did not even bowl his quota of full overs, by the way, Andrew Tye. So maybe they might look at somebody like a Stoinis coming in who will be handier with the bat, but he'll also give you 2 or 3 overs if you want with the ball. So Marcus Stoinis might either replace Andrew Tye or maybe Evan Lewis for that matter. Otherwise, Jason Holder, Quinton de Kock pick themselves. No way they're going to be dropped from this 11 at all. So that's from the Lucknow Super Giants. For the Rajasthan Royals, my entire bone of contention has been that because they've got Riyan Parag, their lower middle order really hasn't been impressive at all. I think the times when they lose early wickets, they'll find it very hard to post a big total. For them, their top order has fired till now, and even Josh Butler, Sanju Samson, Devdutt Padikkal and Shimron Hetmer has also done a great job for them. But after that, you look at their side and you feel like, where's the batting? And that's the only bone of contention I have with this batting lineup. And because Butler will definitely be there, Trent Bolt will definitely be there, and last game Shimron Hetmer was there, he will also be there for sure. These 3 done, but they did not play another overseas player this time though, because Jaiswal has been out of form. They have a like for like opening replacement in the form of Daryl Mitchell, who, if you remember, was really good for New Zealand, won them that semi-final as well. So Daryl Mitchell is another guy you could be looking at. Otherwise, Jimmy Neesham is also not a bad option, considering Riyan Parag hardly bowls 1 or 2 overs, and even if he bowls them, he goes for a lot of runs. So my problem with Riyan Parag is completely different, but I think because of his inclusion, that puts more pressure on their batting lineup as a whole. So maybe they could look at somebody like a Jimmy Neesham in place of Riyan Parag. So those are the overseas options for this game. If Jimmy Neesham is picked or Daryl Mitchell is picked, you can have them in your side as well. Captaincy choices, well, Lucknow Super Giants, 2 options who I always talk about. KL Rahul, Quinton de Kock, both of them have been in decent form. KL Rahul probably not so much. You would expect more runs from the Lucknow captain because he always scores 500 to 600 runs every season. He's been doing that consistently. Hasn't really set the tournament alight, but Quinton de Kock again scored 80 odd runs in the last game. Another great pick. Jason Holder. You never know with Jason Holder. He might give you 3 wickets with the ball and give you 20, 30 odd runs with the bat as well. So he's another great choice as a captain for Lucknow Super Giants. For Rajasthan Royals, I only look at 2 guys who are right there at the top, Sanju Samson or Josh Butler. Samson usually drifts off in the middle of the tournament, and maybe Josh Butler is a better choice in terms of captain because he scored 100 already and you expect him, the pedigree that he brings to the table. I think Butler is a great choice. Trent Bolt really hasn't taken that many wickets, but we know that he's a big wicket taker. 2 overs at the top, 2 overs at the end. So I think Trent Bolt again can be a decent punt if you like to take those chances with your fantasy teams. So now let's look at my 11. So my 11, I have picked Quinton de Kock, Josh Butler and KL Rahul. I have not picked Sanju Samson somehow because I thought maybe probably won't have that great a game, just taking a punt. But I have got Deepak Hooda, Shimron Hetmyer, Devdutt Padikkal, and among the all-rounders I have only picked Jason Holder. Maybe Marcus Stoinis, if he comes in, you could look at somebody like him in place of one of the players that I've chosen. And among the bowlers, I have gone with Trent Bolt, Ravi Bishnui, Avesh Khan and Yuzvendra Chahal. So that's my 11 guys. So make sure you download the Gamezy app from the description below. Make your team before the start of the game. Make your team after the innings break. You can make your 5-a-side team, well, any time of the innings. You can do that at least 8 times in a match. So you can win lots of money guys. So come on, what are you waiting for? Download the Gamezy app and make your team right now. Thank you for watching.